On July 20th, 2017, Chester Bennington, the legendary frontman of Linkin Park, was found dead in his house in Palos Verdes, California. He was 41 years old. Cause of death? Suicide by hanging. Till this day, people have a hard time wrapping their heads around why a self-made rock legend, a loving husband and a father of 6, took his own life. In this episode, we're going to explain Chester's death story and answer the question why he did what he never should have done. As a teenager, Chester Bennington was a rock star in waiting. Skinny, yet athletic. Goofy-looking, yet intelligent. Young Chester discovered his passion for music early and committed his entire life to it. For him, it was all or nothing. Some even say that Bennington's relationship with music looked more like an obsession. In reality, though, for an adolescent Chester, music was a way of comforting himself from the troubles he was going through.
Hey dogs, let's teach our nerdy a little lesson, shall we?
Let's get him! Woof woof! Oh yeah, let's get him, dogs! Woof woof!
Chester was often bullied at school for being skinny and looking different. His adolescent problems didn't stop there, though. Chester's parents divorced when he was 11 years old. But for sure, the most traumatic experience for Bennington was sexual abuse from an older male friend. The abuse started when he was 7 and lasted for almost 6 years. And no one knew about it, since Chester was afraid to speak up and ask for help.
I should probably tell my mom and dad, but what if they think that I'm gay or something? No, I can't tell them that kind of stuff.
Needless to say, the troubles of his youth had a profound impact on Chester. Depression had become his constant companion. When writing music and poetry wasn't enough for breaking free from depression, young Chester was abusing drugs and alcohol. And the more pressure life was putting on him, the stronger his addiction was becoming. But then, suddenly, Chester's life forever changed. In the year 2000, Linkin Park released their debut album, Hybrid Theory. Overnight, a 24-year-old frontman with a memorable voice became one of the world's most admired rock heroes. This was the golden era of nu metal, and Linkin Park emerged as the new leader of the genre, next to bands like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones, Papa Roach, and others. So, now that Chester achieved the success he'd been dreaming of, did his depression and substance abuse stop? Nope. Every time Chester felt like he was under pressure or depressed, he was turning to drugs and alcohol over and over again. He hated himself for that, no doubt. He aspired to be a good husband, a good parent, a decent man, but he couldn't cope with real-life problems himself. Was Chester weak? Seriously, come on, we've heard that before. A rich and famous dude bored with life becoming a drug addict? No, in Chester's case, things are not that simple. We mentioned the term depression here quite a few times. Most of us would associate depression with some kind of sadness. But what Chester was going through wasn't just sadness, it wasn't even depression. In proper medical terms, his diagnosis was clinical depression. Think about it this way. On a scale of 1 to 100, sadness would be 5, depression 50, and clinical depression 1,000. It's a black hole, a dark state of mind that requires professional treatment. One can't get out of it without getting help. Now, let's look at the circumstances leading up to Chester's death. Specifically, there were 2 events in 2017 that were devastating for him. The first one was the death of Soundgarden's vocalist Chris Cornell, Chester's best friend, mentor, and the person he had an enormous respect for. Like no one else in this world, Chris understood Chester. They both had troubled childhoods, depression, and addiction problems. Cornell's suicide on May 18, 2017 was a hard blow for Chester. The second blow was the release of Linkin Park's new album. By the way, the release date was May 19th, just one day after Cornell's death. So, the release itself went well. Fans and critics were looking forward to hearing the album. But the reviews, especially those from the long-term fans of Linkin Park, let's just say the reviews were rough. This is a shit show. Even the sweet-voiced Justin Bieber's heavier than this. Between May and July of 2017, Chester was on shaky ground. His best friend left him, fans were trashing the new album. Chester needed some time to get his thoughts together. He'd been staying away from drugs and alcohol for 6 months, and even though life was tough on him lately, he had the courage to carry on. Chester and his family took off for vacation to their cabin near the Grand Canyon in Arizona, a perfect place to observe nature, unwind, and relax. It's unclear, though, whether or not Chester actually managed to do that. All we know is that he interrupted the vacation and told his family that he needed to go back home earlier to do a TV commercial. He got back to LA alone, and this is likely what happened. It's late night of July 20th. Chester's home alone in Palos Verdes, fighting with his very own and very familiar demons. Remember, he's been sober for 6 months. But those last few weeks have been extreme. He could use a friend, but Chris is dead. Oh, by the way, July 20th is Chris's birthday. Chester opens up a bottle, then another one in just a few. It doesn't take long for him to realize what he just did. He relapsed. Chester knows he can't stop now. It's too late and he's gonna go all in. And tomorrow when his family arrives, they're going to see the man who promised to be sober, drunk, and miserable. Again? Oh no. Not again. An erratic, dark, and absurd thought crosses Chester's mind that there's only one real way to stop this mess. Chester pulls out his belt and approaches the door separating the bedroom with the bathroom and walk-in closet. We're not gonna show the rest. Chester's body will be discovered by a housekeeper at around 9 a.m. This has been one of the saddest stories we've ever done. Chester should never have listened to himself that night, and shouldn't have never done what he did. Wherever you are, if you're depressed and having suicidal thoughts, please reach out for help. You are not alone in this. We'll provide a few helpful links in the video description. As for the death of Chester Bennington, this is how it was.
Alright, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss new episodes.